The US now, disguised Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen, who spends a bit of time at the Congress building. Hey, it looks like there might be a Republican Senate. Too early to call the House, but that in itself will be a game changer for the new president-elect because he didn't have that sort of support last time in the Congress, did he, Annalise?
55 Republican seats in the Senate. So there's 100 seats in the Senate. That gives them a clear majority. Right now it's 50-50. So Kamala Harris, as Vice President, acts as President of the Senate. And in that role, she gets the casting vote if there's a tie in the Senate. What this is going to mean is there's going to be flexibility. If some of the more moderates want to try to block something, Republicans will have options. But also what this means is Senate confirmations for all those key cabinet positions, administration positions, I should say, will go through the Senate. And if Republicans have control, it's all going to be much simpler for Donald Trump to get his way.
We'll get to the Trump campaign in a moment, but I just couldn't believe in a replay of the 2016 debacle from Hillary Clinton, the Vice President, the candidate, she was a no-show tonight.
Look, the sense I really got from the Harris campaign from the start was they just thought there wasn't much they had to do other than not be Donald Trump. And they really thought that that was reflected in the polls, that the only reason Joe Biden was doing poorly was because of his clear cognitive decline. And apart from that, they were sweet. And I think this shows that there is just a deep distrust now from the American public and what they've been told from the media and what they've been told from their government. And it all comes back to everyone pretending like Joe Biden's been fine for years when he hasn't been. And so they didn't do traditional campaigning. They didn't do press. She didn't do a single press conference. And when you have Axios writing up that she's the no-comment candidate because she refused to clarify her policy positions from the last time she campaigned in 2020 for the Democratic primaries, we just heard it again and again. Voters didn't feel like they really had a good option this time around.
Annalise, for all the talk of the pollsters, it was going to be a very tight race, and it certainly was tight in the early count this afternoon our time, of course. 306 to something like 312. That's where Tom Connell thinks the range will land. I have to say yet again, it looks like the betting market's got it closer than the pollsters. And that wipeout of Iowa that was predicted by the Democrat pollster, well, it was a walkover for the Republicans.
And the timing of that Iowa poll, to have it released for Sunday morning, for all the Sunday morning politics shows here, so that they talked about it all of Sunday, was dubious. And as Mick Mulvaney said earlier today, having a 9% undecided factor in that poll and calling it as a win for Kamala, when what we've seen play out now is all of those undecided voters, when they got in the polling booth, they pinched their nose and voted for Donald Trump because they didn't like their options and they picked the better of the two. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who couldn't fathom why anyone would think Donald Trump is the better of the two. But it all comes back to the basics. Cost of living is hurting people here, and you cannot tell people the economy's better because they've created so many jobs when people have to work 3 jobs to pay the same bills they were paying 4 years ago.
Spot on. And when they want to demonise the bloke who says he can make it easier for them, they have the lived experience. He's a known quantity, and that counts for a lot when you're putting him up to be re-elected.